Hydrate power. You're in the dog zone for an hour. Come on. You know the number. 1-900 hot dog. 1-900 hot dog. 1-900 hot dog. Yeah, 9,000.
Podcast of 1-900hotdog.com, the final website. Join us today. We are having fun like it's the internet in 2010. At patreon.com/1900hotdog, you can get daily articles by an all-star cast of comedy writers, bonus podcasts, movie watch-alongs, and that's plenty. If you can find a better way to support joy and the arts with $5, go ahead. I'm Sean Baby from the internet, and my partner was described as also in attendance at the Hunk Minster Buns show. He's the great Robert Brockway.
Ooh, I was there, baby. I raised my hand and I said present when they started the hunk roll call. They did not appreciate it. Here's a Brockway fact. Back in the 90s, there was a brief period where I wore ugly prosthetics and ejaculated on obscure character actors. No follow-up questions, though.
This time I have a lot. I really wish that wasn't a rule in place. Our guest is our old friend from Cracked. You know him from many things there, or from Small Beans, or from one-upsmanship. He's a very prolific new father. Welcome back, Michael Swaim.
Hey, I'm Michael Swaim. I make comicals and podicals at the best of these fine gentlemen. And recently I've been working a side hustle as their fun fact checker. So now I have to go track this down and find out if this is true. I don't know why they pay me to do it, but I do it. So, if you're an obscure character actor, I'm calling you about Robert's cum this month. That's my job now.
All right, this may be...
We'll see if it leads to an article. Who knows?
Might be giving something away here,
I don't know why they have me do it.
It wasn't... You're not going to find any results under the Robert name. I'll just say that. That's it.
It's an alias. Oh, okay. All right. It's the who punched an unspecified bodybuilder in the back of the head, then ran away, goose chase all over again. When he throws in an alias, it really fucks me up.
Swim, I watched your very researched Groundskeeper Willie video, despite YouTube's recent best efforts to hide it, and all long-form content from its viewers. We should do some plugs. We should tell people about that, because it was, better than the internet deserved, I thought.
That's really, really kind of you. Since you pimped me into it, I can't be blamed for shouting out that I lavished old school levels of cracked time on a feature length. I'll tell you what it was, and this is why it's just always great to surround yourself with people who do things that you think are neat to the best of their ability and challenge you. Basically, Dave Bell and Cody Johnston, Katie Stollover at the Some More News team, did a movie-length episode, and I was like, I want to do that. So when I got laid off from Cracked again, the most recent time, a few months ago, I decided my final thing, for no reason, I got no extra pay for doing it, there was no chance it would salvage my position, was going to be feature-length instead of 15 minutes long. So I researched, wrote, edited, and then turned in a feature-length thing that I then had to... I had help in this, but we had to navigate a labyrinthine dispute process for weeks and weeks where every single thing got flagged, and it became clear to me that YouTube is now, as a part of the corporate hegemony over system, obliged to incentivize and de-incentivize to push AI slop content because, as with all money above a certain pay grade, they've bet too much on. It's very clear to me from making inferences by what got flagged and what didn't. And you used to be able to alter the pitch or flip the speed, and that would, and what it's crawling for and what it's not makes it clear to me that it's they know that this was written by a human being, and that's why it's shadow banned. So it's incredibly underserved and super good. And I don't say that about everything I work on, but it came out great. The only fact I'll apologize for, being a one-man, 2-hour fact checker, is I said SCTV is out of Chicago, and Canadian comedy fans are rightly offended that I did that slip of the tongue. SCTV is huge in Chicago, but the show SCTV is obviously Canadian. Dave Thomas and all those, they're all as Canadian as hell, and I know that. But I said it wrong. Everything else is gold. And I'll say...
crazy?
Yeah, go ahead.
I noticed that. And I, of course, thought that was a Canadian show, but I didn't think like, oh, what a
murderous
hilarious error.
man.
I thought I must be fucking, am I crazy? That was Canadian, right? That's how good the research was, that when it was wrong, I was like, that's probably right. Or I gave you credit.
Oh, like
for
Chris
it anyway.
Nolan, you? We're like, I guess it was always daytime in this sequence. I don't know.
Successfully
Thank
gaslit.
you. Well, I'll wrap the plug by saying if you go to my only social media of note at this time, which is Blue Sky, Blue Sky stuff, I just plugged the last episode of this show, Simpsons Taught Me Everything, and in the reply to that, it's an episode with Josh Weinstein, if you're looking for it, is a link to the ad-free director's cut. Because I got so sick of, like, the YouTube version, it's 2 hours long. There is 3 minutes of ads every 6 minutes. And in order to get it to pass all the checks, they had to flip and mortise which means put like an overlay, for people who don't know the word, over like a graphical overlay of the Simpsons television, so that it's like, under fair use, we changed the clip this much, right? But the downside is, and you guys know this very well, whole strata of callbacks, carefully placed subtitle callbacks and background graphic jokes are completely obliterated. And even flopping some things horizontally ruins, like, well, that sign is not legible anymore. And you didn't care about that, you know. So check out the director's cut by tracking it down if you're so inclined. Or bother me and I'll give it to you. Then hire me and I'll say thank you. Oh no, I'm stuck in this voice for the rest of the thing.
I would love it if you were. Speaking purely as a publicist, first, don't do that. Don't do that, Sean. And second, have you considered just saying Chicago, Canada, same difference? Like, I think that might diffuse that whole...
Shy Canada. Yeah.
It's pretty
That's a good
much the
mashup
same thing, right?
I think those two cultures would... Yeah, like Spike Lee brings you maple donuts and poutine. I think that would be an interesting world. In the way of like how Fallout gave us, here's the future, but if it was the past, you know.
Here's Canada, but if it was Chicago.
Yeah. I'm not treading on your book, am I? Because while we're in Plugtown, I got to say, I haven't started, but I'm about to start Robert's new book.
Oh, right.
Very excited about that. I've read the screenplay that's premise adjacent to it, but I haven't started the book yet.
Okay, so I do.
Are you allowed to say the name now?
Yeah, I do. I have to.
Last time I tried to get him to plug it, he wouldn't say it.
Yeah, the times have changed.
The story has changed.
Times have changed.
They were very mad about that.
So last episode of the Dogg Zzone, I took some bad advice from a certain AI lawyer. And long story short, it turns out I'm not a sovereign author who can only be prosecuted at sea. Like, I thought that was a viable defense strategy.
Oh, yeah.
I do.
We're all pirate writers. You taught me that.
Apparently that's wrong, because a robot taught me that I trained mostly on Matlock. It's not doing a really good job. So it turns out I do legally have to promote my book still. It's called I Will Kill Your Imaginary Friend for $200. It's coming out January 27th, 2026. You have, if you're listening to this, you have to pre-order it. This robot got me in so much fucking trouble. It got me in so much trouble.
And it inspired my hit post. The title of this book is the premise of the book. The publisher was very clear about this. So thank you for that. It's already yielding dividends in my life.
Well, I'm glad it's helping you. My life is in shambles. It's falling apart as we speak.
Wait, around this book release? Or just generally?
I'm definitely going to prison over all of the things that I've done. I did.
Okay, great.
I'll accept responsibility for some of it. Like when I called for jihad on my publisher's lawyers, that was probably, I should have known that was over the line. Again, on the advice of my AI lawyer, but I probably shouldn't listen to that one. So listen, you gotta order the book. You gotta order the book, because if you don't, then I go to prison and I have the passwords for all this site, and I'm taking those with me.
Okay.
So it's all just shutting down. If you love
That
this
was a pretty
podcast-
complexly layered nest of irony to the point that I know a bunch of it was a bit, but part of me is like, should I be somewhat worried for my friend? Should I reach out to Brockway after
None of
we
this is a
wrap?
fucking bit. You need to
None of
order
it's a
the
bit.
book.
He's going to get sued. This is actually real legal, factual problems that are upending his life.
You know what
so
else
go
isn't
buy
a
that
bit?
book, I Will Kill Your Imaginary Friend for $200.
You know what else isn't a bit? I am
Yes,
going
sir.
to take everything down with me. That's not a bit.
Great.
That's not a bit. This
either.
all ends. This dies with me. I swear to God, it dies with me. Only you can save it from me. Please save the site from me. I don't want to do this.
And what does it refer to? What do you got? What do you got?
That's my plug.
This was fun.
It's a good plug.
Thanks for having me on, fellas.
Yeah, of course. Great show. Just kick in with a theme song, Jamie, right there. That'd be great.
Einstein, who did
I'll talk to you guys. No, wait, shit. I
Wait,
forgot
wait.
about the show. We are continuing our origin stories, and today we're doing Mike's. It's real fucked up. It's a nightmare of slimy curses.
Gilbert Gottfried's there, so it can't be good.
Yes, that's true. Can you tell us how this spoke to you and what it awoke within you?
I'll tell you, it was kind of revelatory to recall it, because when we were talking origin stories, my origin story actually in the Cracked Pantheon, and it's pretty true to life, and now I'm realizing, and I can back these up with actual diagnoses, that it's the story of autism in large part. I am definitely somewhat autistic, and my dad even more so. So I was the one in the group where, to put it in, I think, a parlance that 1-900 hot dog fans will appreciate, I'm the member of the Expendables or whatever who was trained by some maniac from birth in the woods to do 1-900 hot dog
Right.
articles. So my dad and his friends, because like energy attracts itself, I don't even remember the first time I saw an age-inappropriate movie or looked at a book of H.R. Giger and felt weird about it. And my dad's like, when I'm 5, is like, well, see how that looks like a building, but it also looks like a double penetration shot. What's that? Well, it's when two men stick their penises into a woman. My dad is very answers anything completely earnestly with no emotional under or overtone, no filter whatsoever, and a huge lover of pop culture. Literally trained me by giving me flashcards, or in the car would be like, who produced this album in what year? Who is the bass player? And what is the story? And tell us, all kinds of fun facts. Our whole relationship is fun facts and factoids and cracked like shit. My dad is why I'm good at this job. So, Origin Stories was tricky, and I kept throwing out shit that honestly Brockway called me on, where he was like, that's more of a pitch. Because my memories were so vague, I was pitching stuff that could work. I know I could do a funny tight 8 on how, if you go back and revisit the show Dinosaurs, which comedians love to reference as a low-key kind of actually good show, or that was so weird that was out. No, that show is a hot mess fever dream. But Robert was like, but that's probably not actually the oldest. And so I dug through the layers, and the other one that came up that we covered on our network is Meet the Feebles. I think might have been the first movie to find me and truly ruin me, fuck me up. May have been Peter Jackson's Meet the Feebles. But I digress. Nevertheless, really early on par with when I was watching Meet the Feebles on high 8 tape with my dad, I was also on TV. I vaguely remember things like Bump in the Night with Stinky Diver, and I can only vaguely even Super Ted. So I was fishing through these TV memories, and this sudden memory of just a latex nightmare that for a second I honestly thought I was confusing with the Sponge Monkeys, which is what they called those Quiznos monsters. They used to be
Right.
the Quiznos guys, ad guys in the early 2000s. And I was like, what were those? And then I was like, am I thinking of Third Rock from the Sun? And then I was like, no, there was a show about sea monkeys. And I was like, surely that was a cartoon. And I ended up watching clips of Mighty Max, Fantastic Max with the 2-ply diaper, all this amazing childhood nostalgia. And I went, no, it was just a terrible nightmare. Then I found the live action Howie Mandel Sea Monkeys show, and my
Yep.
life was ruined. And I realized,
What a
oh,
disaster.
no, I saw every episode as a kid, and I was definitely transfixed by how nightmarish it was. And it holds up as that.
It's an astonishing choice, like all around what they've done here. Which, like, there was a period, and it was such a strange period in the 90s where we were so convinced, somewhere between like dinosaurs and cone-heads, that the solution to comedy is elaborate prosthetics. We're just gonna do like we're gonna hide all of our actors under like huge practical effects, and that's the new wave of comedy. And somehow it worked on dinosaurs for a while. But Swaim is right. That show fucking sucks. That show's a
If you
disaster.
watch it, it's dry as fuck. It's just boring. But also, Howie
But I don't
Mandel,
think
I
that's the
remember,
consensus.
had...
I think the
No, it's
prosthetics
not.
worked in that. Like, people's memories of that
the
show is like,
animatronics do work. Those are good.
Yeah.
They
and
are.
laudable.
It's
But
shocking.
if
though.
people will recall the much, much more memorable from this time, Howie Mandel had a big hit with Bobby's World, if I recall, I think was the...
Yeah.
So I think based on the success of that, I had no idea that was the connection. He got this like, hey, let's get like a kid-friendly sitcom. And his idea was, I'm a mad scientist who makes live-action sea monkeys that grow into sort of the Three Stooges, sort of.
Yeah, like
but not
a
really.
real
just
bad
a
version.
touch.
Yeah.
Real bad version of the Three Stooges.
And they all say drippin' instead of cool.
And they look
Oh
like
boy, that's drippin'.
they look like a fucking nightmare.
They look like the Howie Mandel bit that he does where he puts a latex mask over his head and blows it up.
Yeah,
which I know
kind
about
of.
because of The Simpsons. Yeah.
Maybe that's
Yeah.
where that came from. He's like, I look like a live action sea monkey. I bet that's enough for a show.
That's a show.
It turned out it was not.
And I love that he was like, I'll be in the show, but I won't wear the sea monkey shit.
I found an LA Times article where he told the LA Times, Howie Mandel said this could be bigger than Ninja Turtles. And in that same
God.
article, they called it labored, and they said it boasted rich production values and poor ideas. So it was a real hit piece, and he did a lot of the hitting himself.
Could be. At that point in time, it's like, you might as well have said this is going to be bigger than Jesus. Like, that's...
Yeah, go for the desperate shock value. There's a couple of VHS tapes that came out starring this alien called Corny. They were like kid educational videos about like how to stand up to bullies, or one of them was a workout video, but it was exactly these fucking suits, but with one of the antennas missing. So I looked up the special effects people for both of those shows, expecting to see the same special effects team, but they weren't. So I think someone stole one of these costumes out of Howie Mandel's trash,
Cut it
and
off.
then just used it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to recoup the money somehow, because it does look like it cost more than it should have, for sure.
Right, when you could, I mean, just to re-reference, like, I forget what, it was Saturday morning something, Bump in the Night, something. It was a variety show, and I know people out there remember it well. I just didn't refresh myself on it. But what I recall clearly was it was all action figure stop motion. So this was a period where we were trying to entertain children relatively cheaply and see what we could get away with. And of course, as a big like Trek: The Next Generation fan, I always have to train myself to split in my head and be like, okay, so these were accomplished effects, at least for TV at the time, I guess, if that one article is to be believed. But it's like, okay, maybe they were, but it's definitely in that uncanny valley period where like, well, maybe it looks good for the time, but it sure doesn't look good. I wouldn't show it to my kid
It
and
sucks.
expect him to be comfortable with what he's looking at.
To be
It's
clear,
upsetting.
I am not.
Yeah.
I am not saying this was good. I am saying this looked expensive. This looked like it cost them a lot of money, because they built like all their whole cartoonish set. I mean, sitcoms used to be, we got a house. We got like my mom's house. Good enough.
Did,
like, well, let's go.
did latex prosthetics, I wonder, so I can't speak to it well, but it feels like I could do a think piece on the history of latex prosthetics, because I am super interested in like creature effects and how they swept through, because they've got to be intertwined. Because I remember at this time, another weird thing is I had an uncle who showed me novelty porn all the time when I was way too young. And
Jesus, Swaim.
definitely saw Edward Penis Hands and the Penis Heads family, where they fuck each
Right.
other with their prosthetic penis heads and come mass quantities with Dan Cockroyd and such and such. That was fun.
Cockroyd.
That uncle's dead now. We love you, Uncle John.
Do we?
Jeez.
Let's continue. Let's continue. Oh, and I love, dude. I love that they still have I don't want to bury her light under a bushel. There's a fourth character who's just a girl who's clearly modeled after Cyndi Lauper, which is the narrowest time window of reference of fashion you could possibly make. She looks like Blossom Cyndi Lauper era girl. And that's them. That's how she's the April O'Neil, I suppose, because it seems like he was thinking of it as a TMNT. And that would make him Splinter, right? That would make Howie Mandel Splinter. Because the episode will be like, Howie Mandel is a German scientist, says one last life lesson. And then they do Three Stooges shit. And then Cyndi Lauper is the straight man.
Unattended teen neighbor girl storms into their house.
And it's like, guys, get your shit together. Yeah. But so that we know the kind of bits we're talking about when they say the ideas are bad, the back half of one of the episodes we covered is that a guy gets too many compliments, so he gets a swelled head physically, so they have to insult him to cut his head down to size. So that's like 10% a joke idea or like wordplay, 90% grotesque facial swelling. Right? That's the balance there.
For which they built several prosthetic heads for him. New prosthetic heads. Multiple.
The episode's way more about how horrible he looks than anything they say or do at that point.
Yeah, he looks like a sex toy having an allergic reaction, for sure.
I'm just going to say it. I'm not sure Howie Mandel is a genius, guys. I
don't know why we thought he was for a while there.
He improvs a lot of his professor stuff, by the way. I confirm
that does not shock me, because there's not a lot of jokes or plot or point.
Once you learn that about something, you watch it through the lens of, okay, this is a window into their comedy writing mind. And that's where I think Sean comes away with, oh man, maybe Howie Mandel sucked ass the whole time. Because these thoughts are very bad. If I thought of some of these jokes in the room, I wouldn't voice them. Like in a pitch room.
That's a good way to describe it, yes. Like if you look at this through the lens of a comedy writer, it's really frustrating. Because it's so dog shit basic, but not for adults. It's like these are zero draft versions of jokes for children's books. I think the other creators were the Chiodo brothers. I think they're pretty well known. They're talented artists who they were probably too good for this. Like they did Creators, Killer Clowns, a bunch of claymation stuff you've probably seen.
I was wondering if they're not the guys, right? It's not the three
No.
Okay.
They're like real actors, like Sean Whalen.
It's not like a Beekman's world where Beekman also did catering and is the guy. Yeah, okay. So they did, but everything they did is effects forward. Is that right? Like Killer Clowns, I know is.
Yeah.
So they fuck with
they're
claymation
like the guys you call if you
that.
need like a little 3-minute claymation thing for a movie. So like in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, like when Large Marge turns into a monster, that's the Chiodo brothers.
And these sea monkeys, in total disconnect from anything in Sea Monkey's lore I've ever encountered, have claymation abilities. Like they'll roll into a clay ball to traverse or whatever. And then sometimes they'll be like, we need water or we're going to die from being not underwater. And then sometimes they don't really talk about that.
And sometimes they have excess water that they will squirt into each other.
Right.
Didn't you need that lot of water?
Yeah.
Dude,
from their body.
It reminds me. Brian Regan is my favorite clean stand-up, and he has a classic to me like Mitch Hedberg and Alzheimer, which is, so sometimes on the highway I'll see a truck carrying a bunch of logs pass another truck carrying a bunch of logs, but if they had logs and they need logs, what are we doing? Seems like a phone call could have taken care of this. Yep. Oh, you had logs? So yeah, there's shit like that all throughout. It's great. Yeah.
I don't know if we've explained the entire premise of the show.
I guess completely you probably dominated. I'm going to shut up.
Mad scientist. We know a lot about Swaim's uncle, which I'm sure we'll cut all that. But so the sea monkeys are like living Flintstone style in a fishbowl. They have like a living room and a TV and everything, but it's all stupid and underwater, like SpongeBob themed. And they have what probably should have been an expository theme song is just not there. It's just silence. And the scientist in the intro credits turns them into full-size human-sized monsters. And
it's like, honey, I blew up the kids, but he just pointed it at some sea monkeys. That's the premise.
Yes.
What I love is, rather than make a song like your Weird Al shows of the era or whatever, they try to make up for that by ending it with a really incongruous, because he's a scientist in a lab using a tech ray, it cuts to an old-timey font sepia tone newspaper that hits camera with the headline, decidedly old-timey phrasing. It's amazing! Exclamation point. There are live sea monkeys. It's like very labored. Everything's very labored. That was a great word for it.
Can I just say, though, I'm not going to say many positive things, so I have to say this one. I do appreciate the efficiency of that setup. Like, I do, because that took, I don't know, 20 seconds, and it didn't even need the expositional theme song, and you get it. And, like, they at least have that faith in the audience that they're like, yeah, the kids get it from this 20-second montage. He points a shrink ray at them, now they're big.
Of course.
That's cool. And then we start the first episode, like the pilot episode. It's not about them like living their life in the bowl and then getting blown up and like being introduced to society. They're just like, no, these dipshits are out here. They've been fucking around forever. Everybody knows about it.
Everyone knows the sea monkey.
Everybody jump way into the middle.
Yeah, they just leap right out there. And like, I appreciate that faith in the audience of children. And I appreciate the efficiency of that storytelling. That is the only nice thing I'm going to say about this show.
I feel like if we started from the beginning, the scientist would have shot these monsters in the head and said, I've tested it, it works. My grow ray is ready to use on my human penis.
And that leads back to my uncle. The format does... Actually, now that you describe it in that paint by numbers way, could work if every component was well made. And the Chiodo brothers are not actually not doing their job well. It's just that, for example, like you pointed out, Killer Clowns from Outer Space and Large Marge work way better within the Uncanny Valley world of claymation. That's going for, like, photorealism with claymation is always going to have that effect. Leaning into it works. Every aspect of this is just misguided, which I think actually makes it a perfect hot dog origin story, because it really is not just, I get bored by a bad movie where you're like, wow, what an insane offer. And then you do a mediocre job of it, like a workman-like job. This is, the people who made this suck. Every time they go up to bat, they trip on their dick and whiff every time. Every decision is bad. The people who are good on the team do good work in spite of whatever was put in front of them, and it's few and far between. And so it's like, it's consistently frustrating funny. Like frustrating / funny.
That's what it makes it very interesting to me that there clearly was money and that there clearly were people in almost every aspect of this show except for the actual show itself, the performers, the jokes, the writing. Well, like, set designer, pretty good. Prop designer, pretty good. Like, the costumes, terrible, but pretty good.
Well, yeah, like the fact that the premise is, you're like, oh, I haven't heard that before, and you can say it in one sentence. Sure. It's almost like Stella. You're like, well, if the three dudes that are weird do the stuff and it's funny, that could be funny. And then they just proceed to do what I would argue is a frustratingly unclean overlap of the Three Stooges, where they're like the Three Stooges, but not in a clearly delineated fashion. From episode to episode, some of them will be the leader or not. They don't have consistent characteristics where you're like, oh, if we're talking pathetic, we got to go to Dr. Zoidberg. No, I'm like, you know what I mean? I couldn't say Aquarius is the blank one, and Mo, he's the leader.
That's a really good point. They're just like
guys. And that's murder. That's suicide for a sitcom.
And there's no pattern. There's no pattern to break. There's no familiarity to grow. It's just madness in different directions with like no impact, because like it's already so fucking crazy. So they do something silly, you're like, well, yeah, because they're like a fish out of water. But then it's like, no, they didn't do that because they're a fish out of water. Like that's not their normal. They did that because someone thought that fucking like children's greeting card was a hilarious pun worth adapting to a television show.
Imagine being on set, like all the prep that goes into this, and you've created this world. Like all your set designers have created the world, the costume designers. Everybody's spent all this time in prosthetics, and you're like one of the creators of this, and you're like, okay, everything's ready. We spent a fortune doing this. Let's see what these guys got. And then Howie Mandel comes out and he like slaps an image of the sun on a chalkboard and he's like, that's the sun. I'm the father. No, it can't be this.
No, surely.
No, it can't be all for this. Look around you. We made a world. You can't.
Yep.
You didn't have anything?
In the first episode, which I forget, it's called like the Octopotamus, I think. But
Yeah.
Howie at one point misspeaks during a take and says Papa Sosimus. And one of the other actors, improv, calls him on it. What's that? What's a Papa Sosimus? And rather than that being an outtake, right, where they reset, it's in the episode because he saves it by going, well, my son, Papa Sosimus is like if someone calls you like a guy with a neck made of cheese with a sock in it. And watching the dailies, they were like, I know it was a flub, but that's the kind of gold we're here to mine. That has to go in the show. So they worked the plot around fitting that in.
Cheese with a sock in it.
I also
Of
love his
course.
improv at the top of they're fucking around with small sea monkeys in a bowl, which could be an amazing meta deconstruction episode, right? Like if you did a Clone Factory episode about a clone cloning a clone, you could do lots of fun shit. They are playing with a fishbowl at the top, and the professor comes in and goes, you silly boys, don't you know there's no such thing as a pet in a fishbowl? And no one questions that, and they don't unpack it. What are fish then, man? What are you even talking about?
It's going to sound crazy. I only took a couple of clips, and one of them contains that. So, like, just let me play this, and
Please
everyone will get a vibe for the show.
Yo, Mrs. Scampy.
Morning, aquarium! Scared you.
Hi, Professor.
Silly sea monkey. What are you doing looking in the fishbowl?
I'm just looking for a pet to love.
You know there's no such thing as a pet in a fishbowl.
But I want a pet so bad.
But Aquarius, you are young. You can't have that kind of
Oh,
responsibility.
come on, Professor. Make me a pet. Will you, please, Professor?
I don't have pets. All I have is these freeze-dried packets.
Yes, minnows, compass. Oh, octopotamus. Oh, I love a pet octopotamus. Make me a pet octopotamus, Professor.
Octopodami is not a pet. It is an experiment. Don't you understand? And now I have to go. I have written it down to my speed reading class. Toodaloo!
That joke's
Okay.
fine. That's good enough
see,
to be
I
in a Saturday
strongly
morning.
disagree.
You hate that, my speed.
See, I think we all grew up with
reading
alt
class.
comedy.
Sure.
So someone like Howie Mandel, who sincerely aims his jokes at 6-year-olds, is frustrating for me. Like the emptiness of something like speed reading class.
He's
like,
reading
lingers
it
with
off
me.
a piece of paper, if you can't imagine.
It's so unfinished. Like a part of me, the pities the man who would call that joke done. Right?
It also just
It's
occurs
like,
to me that
buddy,
his
get the
improv.
fuck back here. This punchline says read slowly speed reading class. Like you still have some work to do on this, man. You're not do not fucking call it a day on this. But,
Please stop spitting on me. I famously do not like germs. You're like, I don't fucking care, man. I'm chewing you out. You're gonna stand there for it.
Yeah. And he is
Sorry, go ahead.
his whole character is like a guy who didn't get the gig at a 1968 Hanna-Barbera audition. It's just fucking this Ludwig von Drake, if you remember that, like fucking
Yes.
Donald Duck side character. It's just exactly that.
Well, it's ironic that it's so clearly improv with them loosely overlapping each other and having that vibe of you don't have to laugh, you just have to chuckle. We're just having fun here. What, you got better shit
Right.
to do? Is kind of the level of comedy they seem to be going for. It's like when they're like, you'll barely laugh, and we're fine with that. It's like a
it
joke
can't be
book
that way.
actually bills itself as a joke book where you're like, well, we're in for not a treat, but some jokes. But it's crazy to me it just occurred to me with that clip, he doesn't not yes and him, which is the classic improviser's credo. He no buts him to the degree that he said he defies reality. He goes, I'm looking hey, welcome to the scene. I'm looking for a pet in this fishbowl. There are no pets to be found in fishbowls. Everyone knows that. Okay. I guess we'll go in a
Just
different
the
direction then.
Hardest no butt. Yeah.
Hey, by the way, now I have a gun.
Shattered your fishbowl. But on the YouTube video where I watched this, one of the top comments is the guy who's like, by the way, I got to work on this show. I made all the shirts. And the shirts he's referring to are these shirts that Aquarius wears that are just like long sleeve, white long johns with Sharpie that say like #1 pet owner in this episode, and the other episode #1 flunky. Like his costume is just #1 whatever in Sharpie on a shirt every episode.
And he
That's
got
a
paid
pretty good gag if
$50,000.
that person didn't make the shirts. If that's just like someone who's like, I gotta say something funny under this YouTube video.
That's a good comment. Deeply depressing if true.
It cuts back and he's playing with the frozen packet of like abomination DNA. And so
That's the Mad Magazine level of joke. It's like, oh, the bit is now
Yeah.
he's going to treat the packet like a pet, right? He'll put a leash on the
Yes.
packet. He'll feed the packet.
right. And so like I guess they don't know our ways, but they also like don't understand like how anything works. But it also might be a sea monkey joke because it's a pretty famously bad toy. They're just little brine shrimp that may or may not be alive. And you just dump them in the fishbowl and you're like, well, there's your sea monkeys.
They
a bunch
do
of
move.
like dust
Yeah, if
like
you look at
creatures.
it's like
yeah.
Pet Rock the show, right?
Yeah.
Also, it gets too big again. This is fully a separate episode, by the way. But both episodes are about this monster got too big. How can we shrink this monster? I didn't watch all 9 episodes that were produced of this monstrosity or whatever. But I wonder if they're always trying to shrink some latex horror. Like that's the through line. He's too big, but how do we cut him down to size?
The latex artists.
Yeah.
How they protected their career. So there's a dark reveal here in this episode we talked about a little where the other 2 sea monkeys walk in and one says he's pooped. And so the other one just squirts water into his mouth from his finger and he goes, moisture. So this is a lot. Like this lets us know that they need moisture
To live, they
can
need
share
water.
their excess.
Yeah.
Like that's like camels who pee in each other's mouths or something. Like I don't understand the biology of this.
It's not okay.
It's so fucking gross. It's so gross.
And that's how they're introduced. That's 2 of your main characters. Like, that's how they're introduced to the show, is meet these gentlemen. They drink from each other.
And I believe in the first episode, the guy goes, I think the employees are disgruntled. And we meet them by cutting to them. And one goes, disgruntled. And the other one goes, employee. And the other one goes, disgruntled. The other one goes, employee. So we're also talking about like the level of abstract or absurdist dialogue a children's play would do in an elementary school like presentation.
Yeah, it has real kids show vibes.
Which can be funny. Like Animaniacs could make that funny. But this just doesn't. They just don't pull it off.
It's kid show vibes, but it's like it's corrupted somehow. It's like one of the skits in RoboCop for like
it's
a
dirty
kid
and
show.
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a
like-
Tom Kenny, like speaking of SpongeBob. I don't think it's Tom Kenny, which I'm thankful for. But the guy who runs the slate is like a Frankenstein Igor. Like they also let everyone be a loud improv character. No one.
Yeah.
It's like an improv show with too many cooks where you're like, guys, someone has to be the, wow, this is all so crazy guy. You can't all be clowns, magician birthday clowns. It's too much energy.
They break the fourth wall a lot too, which is frustrating. They don't have like a Jim character. It's just that the whole set is Jim characters doing Frankenstein Igor. So yeah, it's your same point that there's nothing to ground this. It's just silly in a world where silly doesn't exist.
I think maybe the neighbor.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so they go to
She's
the
kinda
neighbor's.
human.
Yeah,
the neighbor who's
neighbor's
upset
house.
about his naval background being not honored duly. That guy? Like the crusty old Dean guy?
No. I should be more specific. They have multiple neighbors, but like.
Oh, okay. Oh,
I guess
she's
it's a
barely
reversal.
there.
It's like a reverse
Yeah,
Kramer,
yeah.
right? Like most of their neighbors are straight men that they have to go visit, and then the straight men are like, "Fucking these guys again."
But then what's funny is by the end they always slip into let me show off. I could be funny. Let me show off a little wacky here too. I have colors to me. Like the crusty old neighbor in the second one who's like, "No, this is too silly." By the end is like, I'm going to do some poop jokes as well. And you, the audience, are left to go, these fucking guys about all of it. They push you into that position.
I guess we can go through the plot of this. They do make Octopotamus, and it's like a little puppet thing, and it's great. I actually showed this to my daughter, and she hated the show. She was like, this fucking sucks. Until the
Very upsetting.
Octopotamus came on,
Yeah.
she's like, wait a second, this part's good. This little puppet guy's pretty great.
And they go, watermelon, our favorite food, luau. And you go, oh, from the way they said that, I assume they say that all the time? Nope, never before, never again.
No, that's the first episode. They don't have a
Watermelon.
catchphrase
They
yet.
tried a
Wow.
catchphrase and they didn't. They do that all the time through this show. Like they'll do something, and then the implication is that's how this works, and then they'll never do it again. Like,
Oh, the one guy's constantly like a Brooklyn guy, but then sometimes he'll go, oy vey. And he'll go,
Yeah.
wow,
With no
cat
consistency.
skills level shit, dude.
He looked right into the
Oy
camera and
vey,
said, "Oy
booby."
vey." Yeah, that was in my notes. The whole thing here, the idea is that he needs to be responsible with this pet. He doesn't know why yet because he doesn't know that it grows when it eats. So he's like, I need to watch you, pet. I can't do something else. And he's like, wait, but my favorite song just came on the record player. And so he walks across the room to just dance, which is like supposed to be representative of him of like abandoning his responsibilities.
It's
But no, he can still.
Gallant.
It's so fucking stupid.
Oh yeah, he's just across the room. There's no wall even separating them.
Right. He could still watch the pet. Or the idea that you had to just stay nose to nose with this pet 24-hour day. It's crazy.
I do think that's a vital scene, though, because, like, it lets you learn about their physical mannerisms as performers. As like, other brother comes in and starts dancing with him, too. Like, you need to know this early on.
He'd be like this. He'd be like this.
Yeah, that, like... Okay, I'm supposed to hate both of these men personally.
with a passion, with a fury.
They look like they're outside like a ballet studio mocking people or something.
And their music is human music from Rick and Morty. Like it's just fart sounds and bubble sounds and
Yep.
And of course the octopotamus swells up too big, right? The thing swells up. That's always what's wrong with the show.
First, it grows a little bit because it eats a bag of potato chips when it's unattended, and it burps, and then the third guy comes and he sees this absolute monstrosity that has never existed anywhere else, like jumping out of its food. And he says, "Oh, a burping buddy." That's his exact words. And then they just burp at each other for a while the other two are just dancing.
You're like, this is the fat, disgusting guy, right? No, the brothers will start stealing like the burping bit from him. He'll forget that he's the guy that's supposed to be the fat, disgusting guy. You're like, no.
Again, it is more like an unfunny Stella where they can infect each other. Like, oh, that is a good dad joke. I'll do that dad joke too. Let's all do it for a while. Okay, it's losing steam.
And
Anyone
then do
got
something
anything?
else.
Yeah. Like the guy who says Oeve also in one sequence says Alvida saying toots, and then a tentacle grabs him and he goes marron. I'm like, what fucking country?
He's every New York community.
Sea monkey from? He's also a sea monkey.
He also lived in a fishbowl.
Not supposed
in a
to
little
be from
Flintstones
anywhere.
living room.
Then they make weird lore references, like you said, like the shooting the water, but also doesn't their pain, they can feel each other's pain or something?
Yes. Like a psychic connection. When his head gets stuck in the door, they're like, oh, fuck, our friend's head is stuck in the door.
Head. Yeah, I don't even
I
know
haven't
if our
watched
brothers-
all of these, but I did scan through a few others when I was looking into this, and none of this shit ever comes up again.
I can't even imagine it would.
This is not establishing lore. They don't have a catchphrase. They don't have a psychic link. It's just like whatever.
I'm also curious about the wedding. There's a 2-part wedding episode finale that, according to the paltry YouTube commenters, are like, this is the one really good episode. And I'm like, I'll trust you on that. I'm not going to watch
designed
the
the
wedding.
wedding dresses for this.
Yeah, number one wedding. Just says. I also wonder if the reason that the plot is always, oh no, this hideous monstrosity is too big, how can we make it small, is that they're in a constant state of pain and wishing they could go back to their small life in the bowl as normal sea monkeys. Like their existence is hell, and that's what they want.
At this point, the neighbor girl rushes over with a bunch of groceries. I have a clip. I think this is really important.
Watermelon!
Our favorite food.
Wow! This food is not for you guys. It's for my parents' stupid tea party for the Rear Admiral Sea Sucker.
When you say Rear Admiral, do you mean that he has a big butt?
And his name is Sea Sucker.
Nailed it.
Rear Admiral Cocksucker, dog. So it's this hodgepodge of where you're like, so is this for kids? Because that dude's name is clearly Cocksucker.
and this race of beings clearly sustains themselves with standing 69s, just squirting into each other's bodies.
They're like, brother, please help me, and they cum water all over each other, and they're like, thank you, white brother.
And all over everybody else. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
It's not exclusively for each other. They will finger jizz many different character actors, including the esteemed Sir Gilbert Gottfried.
And in this episode, in the 2 episodes at least that I watched in their fullness, they never suck up water or anything. So you do wonder, like, where's the original source of the water they're living on? Or is it just
It's
piss,
definitely the
piss of
local
piss
toilets.
of piss
Yeah.
at this point? Yeah. They're just
They just go into the
waterworlding it.
bathroom.
Yeah.
But anyway, this was a real sitcom situation. The family needs to make a good impression with the rear admiral. So they're like, you can't come over, sea monkeys. We don't want any sea monkeys.
Well, he calls them those dang meddling sea otters, so you know his whole
Yes.
function in the show.
Right.
I do, again, it's the same. This is not a different compliment. I'm reiterating the same compliment. I appreciate that they're just like, you don't need to know their relationship to this neighbor or even who the neighbor is. He opens the door and is just like, fucking hate you guys. Yeah,
These are, why are you here?
Yep.
of course you will.
Obviously.
You don't have to explain anything about that. I'm a child, but I get it. I would hate them on sight.
You open a door, you see these three guys, and you go, fucking great, why are you here? That's just a natural human reaction. What the fuck are you doing here?
But the rear admiral recognizes them as ocean monsters. Like he of course has never seen anything like this. This is,
But he considers them
but he-
pesky, like more
Yes.
than, a problem.
right. But he considers them real men of the sea, so he gives them a salute.
Oh, right, he recognizes their mariner status. That's true.
Yes, he's clearly you breathe underwater, and as a Navy
That's
man, I
cool.
respect that. But by this point, the octopotamus is running around the party, and he's grown to a tremendous size. But they're doing like a snuffleupagus thing, so no one can see it.
Or like the WV frog. There's an old dowager who it keeps scandalizing, but no one else can see it for a while. We
Yeah,
play
you knew,
that
like-
game.
These bits are so achingly inevitable. They're just like, it's like death approaching. It's every time you're like, yeah,
Yeah,
I know,
dude.
I know
Yeah.
she's going to be like scandalized by the monster and nobody else will believe him. You know the second you see the setup.
The very
exactly
moment
what
he
they're going
goes,
to do.
well, I do have this one pet, but here's the rules it lives by. You go, that's the next 11 minutes of my life.
Yep.
Buckled
Yep.
in. Yeah.
Can't wait to see what twist you forget to
What
do
gets
with
Mad
this
Libs
premise.
in here? Oh, old Dowager. Great. Old Dowager. Classic thing to Mad Libs in. For sure, that makes sense. The level of comedy we're playing at. Yeah. And, she says she gets I nevered a few times in different ways. It sneezes on her or whatever. I don't remember. Do you have clips?
Nope, I only took those
Not
two
of her.
clips: the big
Oh,
butt
what a shame.
and the.
Well, the one I wrote down is because I had to rewind it several times to legibly get it and type it out, and I was gasping with laughter. And my darkest fear is that this show does represent Howie Mandel coming off a big hit and being told, do whatever you want, you're the genius. And this is his show that he delivered, like the top of his power and imagination.
I mean, that is what happened.
Is
That
like
has to
many
be.
times they go, and remember our motto, if we don't look good, you don't look good. And they say it
Yeah, dude.
several times, and every time they said it, I kept rewinding it because I don't understand what it means, even grammatically. Like I'm like, say more. And so go on. And what do you mean by that? Like I'm really, not just as a joke, but a human thought or like English words.
Right.
And that's what makes it hot dog origin worthy is you're like, it gets to a point of abstraction. You're like, I don't even know what they were going for at this point in some of these
Okay, but here's
places.
the thing: is
yeah.
I think I do. There was a time in human history when like just sort of saying shit from a commercial was like, okay, you're done with the joke. You just said a thing everyone has heard before on their TV. That counts as a joke. We'd see that in movies all the time. You don't usually see it in this like amount. Like when they say, if you don't look good, we don't look good, which was the Men's Warehouse slogan at the time. They immediately.
That's what it was. Thank you.
The other character immediately says, "I can't believe he ate the whole thing," which
That
was
one
the
I clocked.
Alka-Seltzer
That
slogan
one I
at the time.
clocked. Okay.
There's no lines between those two things. They went from TV commercial reference to TV commercial reference, which
Yes.
is. It seems unthinkable now, but at the time, that would have been the laziest thing a writer can do. You just couldn't do it now. People would just look at you like you're insane.
Like comparing them to the Quiznos sponge monkeys.
Right.
It's the sure sign of a hack.
I cannot stress enough how much there's not context we're skipping over. Like, they just say that, and it doesn't apply to anything happening anywhere.
Well, the Dowager says, like, how could you have something along the lines of, like, a line like, this shit is all ruined. Who's responsible for this? And they go, hey, remember our motto, if we don't look good, you don't look good.
Right, that doesn't
And
make
it's
any
just
sense.
like,
That's not a response to what she just did.
No.
And then frustrating to
Where's
the degree
beef? I followed it. I can't get up.
that I actually think this is funny if it was comedic. And if it wasn't a joke, because it's an anti-omission of a non-joke, what I'm about to describe, and if it wasn't intentional, it speaks to such a deep ignorance of anything about humor that I'm flabbergasted, which is to shrink this sea monster back down. They realize that the solution is to dry it out with a hairdryer, even though in his improvised monologue, Howie Mandel said, put it in the sun. I guess that's the same. He meant heat, I guess, not light. But they resolve the problem with a hairdryer, and the line is, ready, aim, dry. Not ready, aim, dryer. I'm so angry. Like, come on. I hope the next time Howie Mandel puts a glove over his head, it's the last time, if you know what I mean.
I mean, you know it's gonna be, right? Like that is the obituary.
Yeah. Died avoiding germs.
At one point, just doesn't have that lung capacity
to blow that glove up. Yeah.
And no one's gonna save him because of stuff like this. No one's gonna be like, "I'll get that glove off." You're just gonna look him in the eyes as it happens.
Then he does her hairdo and says, "How about a whole new day for yeah?" That's a joke. Or the show edits like that's a joke.
Yeah, great character. It's like Damon Wayans trying to get fired from Saturday Night Live, but yeah, they do. They pretend to be hairdressers to cover for how they have hairdryers. Because someone's like, "Hey, why do you have hairdryers?" So like, "Oh, I'm here to do your hair." She's like, "Sure, fine." But then she sits on the monster, and then one of them just grabs her with his bare sea monster hands and just starts ripping her hair out, just pulling on her hair. It's like 15 colors. It has eyeballs. She looks like Reese, if you remember him from Return of the Jedi.
Yes,
I didn't even have to look that dude up. But yeah, they just make her into a Reese. And then she flips out. The monster escapes.
At one point, the monster gets another level bigger because it's eating something unspecified under a sheet. That's gonna haunt me forever.
While she's getting her hair yanked.
Right. It's under the sheet doing something, like causing a ruckus, and she's going, "Well, I never." What am I supposed to think?
Yeah, that's clearly getting devoured ass first by the sea monster.
That's what I love is, and this is classic 90s kids show era, where you're like, fuck it, kids got to grow up sometime. They break the fourth wall by going, "This isn't going to be pretty." And he goes, "But this is." And he holds up a picture of a sexy lady that's at least sex. It's old-timey, but it's sexy enough that she's literally standing in front of a sign that says "No Minors." So it's like a show for children where they're holding up old-timey, yes, but pornography. So it's just, it adds to the atmosphere of, this is weird. As a kid, I was like, am I supposed to see this? Was this meant for me? Or am I walking in on my parents having sex right now? Like the social equivalent of, you know what I mean?
Like I'm proud of us for not resorting to this until this point. I'll be the first one to do it. They do have 3 cocks on their heads, each one of them. So like,
best case scenario nipples, worst case cocks. Yeah.
No, those are cocks. Yeah. Those are absolutely cocks.
Cow nips. They could be cow nips.
And can be no other thing. Like look at any still of this show and you'll be like, "Oh, this is the porn parody of Coneheads or something." Like you're not allowed to watch this because those are penises on their heads. This is Edward Penis Head or whatever. Like this is, and they're functional. They squirt.
They squirt water.
Yeah,
what they
ejaculate.
assure us is water. Well, they say we need this to live. That's all that's what they say.
They need jizz to live. It's a high premise.
Please, I need this. I need this from my brother. That's all we know. Then the crazy
and they even predicted the future of pornography.
Yeah, it's a war flashback. Also, very
Could you imagine having to jerk off your brother every time you were hungry? What a fucking nightmare of existence.
And yet, I would be like, if a whale biologist was like, "That is how sea monkeys work," I'd be like, "Sure, that's fine for them." Oh. I didn't need it to be a show, you know. Like,
we could have changed
if
that
that's
one.
True. Or it amazes me that they of all the things they could have done with sea monkeys, Howie Mandel read that factoid and is like, "Well, that's going in the show." Oh, the dicks are on their heads? That's going in the children's show.
And the brothers need to drink from them? All right.
Yeah.
All right.
I love the smell of seaweed in the morning, a reference to how we napalmed Vietnamese people and then burned away their skin.
Plus, no other thing. No real context for that. I believe their answer is us too.
Well, it's the Rear Admiral is having a trauma war break, it seems. The actor is playing it that way.
Right, but there's no setup to it. He says it, and then I believe their answer back is us too. What's the joke?
Oh, dude. And then it does that thing that Freakazoid used to do to great effect. But it falls so flat. Where they just, or any number of things where they're like, and then the script says this, I guess. Or Holy Grail ends with just, let's all go home and get arrested. They cut to Bill and he goes like, and that's why you shouldn't get angry if someone eats you. And you're like, that fucking sucked.
Dude,
that's not
sucked so hard.
Good. That's like G.I. Joe came out at the end of the episode and said, hey kids, fuck you, I hope you had a bad time. We ran out of time, so we gave up. It just sucks.
There's a moment of comedy writing that was maybe the most frustrating for me where the monster could be anywhere. And they're like, oh, I guess the monster's loose. Where could it be? And one of them just thinks a thought bubble of it killing a couple of little model buildings. And then his thoughts being acted out on screen are just labeled Cleveland.
Yeah, it could be killing Cleveland, which is the name of a movie,
just like,
but okay.
There's not a series of gags leading to like increasingly ridiculous places. It's just a single city with no point. Like he's not at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or anything. It's just really generic buildings. It's such a placeholder joke that still had to get acted out by the puppet crew.
The only thing I can think as a pop culture's like archivist is that it's inspired by, there were some movies around that time, like The Thing That Ate Cleveland, right, was a joke format at this time. God, and I think that's all they're invoking. Like you said, all they're ever invoking are like water cooler talk nuggets or commercial jingles that are going to be forgotten in a second. You know, like
or the Three Stooges, that classic, like we need to bring these 90s children don't appreciate Three Stooges.
Level gags, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then he gets a puppy crab, so it's happily ever after.
Yeah.
And I believe the last scene is him just yelling. If you've ever seen Mad God, this children's show really reminded me of Mad God at certain points. Just yells, I think I'll name him Stinky.
I'm so frustrated.
Also, it's just an upsetting. Imagine the ocean stench that we give off. I invite you to. Okay, end of episode.
But also, we know that sucks. We know that stinks ourselves.
Yeah.
No, you didn't think this through.
The puppy crab. Yeah.
Puppy crab. That's a 3 out of 10. I got nothing against puppy crab.
Tell me how much this resonates. At the bottom of my notes, apparently I did do math on their characters. I said one is Curly plus Cowardly Lion.
Sometimes.
Other two are General Zany, but one is often Ari Gold from Entourage.
Okay.
I don't remember which one is which or who I'm referring to.
Yes, but
that's what passed
they
me,
switch. They change. They
trade their traits. Yeah. I gotta rewatch Stella because I remember that being maybe the only time this was ever done well, where it's almost like Spy versus Spy, where you're like, it doesn't matter which one is Showalter and which one is Wayne and which one is Black. They're just three guys. It's hard to pull off, and indeed they don't.
Einstein, Hunter, Frankfurt. Einstein, Hunter, Frankfurt. Unser Podcast genau. Und mit maximalen Schau. Dogg Frankfurt Podcast. Korrekt. Ja. Der Kraft ist nicht ohne. Schick die in die Hundesaal. 4 eine Stunde.